APG is the today's topic. Students, do you know what is APG? APG means angiosperm phylogeny group. It is one of the recent classification and a modern classification. You know very well about lot of classifications. Example, artificial, Benjamin-Hooker is a natural classification. There are so many phylogenetic classification. But APG is a classification accepted by the most of the taxonomists around the world. It is a modern classification based on phylogenetic. So what is phylogenetic? It is based on evolutionary order. Another important basic concept of APG is monophyletic group. Students, what is monophyletic? It is one of the clade taxa which comprises all the descendants of the common ancestor, that is called monophyletic. Mono means single. All the descendants comes from the common ancestor, that is called monophyletic. Here APG, monocots is a monophyletic. That is why the monocots, the same term is retained. Then dicots. Earlier classification we used the term dicots. Now the dicot term is not used for this classification because dicots are polyphyletic. That is why the term now it is changed to eudicots. So eudicot is a monophyletic. Then what about the remaining plants? The remaining plants which are grouped as a early angiosperm. So that is why in this APG classifications there are three important clades. One is early angiosperm, is a paraphyletic. Second one is monocots, and the third one is eudicots. So I already said monocots and eudicots are monophyletic, and the early angiosperms are paraphyletic. Students, what is paraphyletic? Taxa which include all the ancestor but not all the descendants of that ancestor. So that is why it is called paraphyletic. So early angiosperms are paraphyletic. You know very well all these classifications, there are so many classifications. Why we included APG in this 11th standard? Students, we all should be updated to the current knowledge because all over the world APG is a classification used by the taxonomists. So we also updated regarding the taxonomy, the APG classification. Why the APG is more important? Because in most of the herbarium institutions and the taxonomists are using APG. That is why the APG classification is included in the 11th standard. Okay. The APG, I said the three clades. Let us see one by one. First one is the early angiosperms. Early angiosperm which include 8 orders and 26 families. 8 orders and 26 families. Here there are three important clades. So what are these three clades? First one is a ANA grade. So what is ANA? ANA is a abbreviated form. A stands for amber alleles. N stands for nymphiales. And another A stands for astropyleales. It is a one group. Then second group, magnolids is the second group. The third group is a chloranthales. So these are the three clades. So ANA grade, magnolids and chloranthales. So this is the first clade, early angiosperms. Now let us see the second clade. The second clade is the monocots. In monocots, it is divided into three important clades. First one is a basal monocots, and the second one is a lilioids, and the third one is a camelinids. These are the three important clade in monocots. Finally, the third group is a eudicots. You know very well what is U. U stands for true. Is a real dicots. Real dicots mean here there are two cotyledon. Another important point which consists of a tricolpate pollen grain. The pollen grain is a tricolpate. It is an important point. Differentiate eudicots. Eudicots divided into how many families and orders. The number of orders in eudicot is a 45 orders, and the number of families 313 families. So totally how many orders and how many families mean? 64 orders and 416 families. Students, why we changed it to APG? You know, there is a famous quote says, the word change never change. Remaining everything will change. The change word only never change. That is why the APG also there are 4 versions. So version 1, it is released in the year 1998. Version 2 is released in the year 2003, and version 3 released in the year 2009. Version 4 is released in the year 2016. So which one is the updated version? So fourth one is a recent modern version. It is released in the year 2016. You know, APG is based on phylogenetic. Where we getting the data for the phylogenetic classification? The informations received from many fields, for example, morphology, anatomy and embryology, karyology, phytochemistry, also molecular data. What is molecular data? It is based on DNA sequence. The DNA sequence is a gene. There are 2 important genes from the chloroplast used for this purpose. That is, ATP-B is a one gene. The next one is a RBCL. These 2 genes present in chloroplast. So these genes, these informations, genetic information used for the APG. Then another one, nuclear gene, is a nuclear ribosomal. 18S DNA is used for APG. It is a one gene. So these genetic informations used for the APG. Okay. Next, how the APG, the places where the APG used. APG used in most of the herbarias of the world, including London Kew Garden. The photographic survey of the plants of USA and Canada is updated to the APG. So Q also updated to the APG, and USA and Canada plants are updated to the APG. Then the Flora of British Isles written by Stace, that is also updated to the APG. Some of the important plant families also updated to the APG. Okay, next, the early angiosperms, 2-cotyledon, monosulcate pollen grain, and presence of ethereal oil. Perianth. Actually, the perianth is a character of monocot. Now, the perianth is a character of also a character of early angiosperm, is a trimerous. So, early angiosperm have the characters of both dicots and monocots. And the pollen grain character is very important character, is a monosulcate pollen grain. Another important feature is the nectaries. The nectaries are very rare. And another important feature, embryo is very small when compared to monocots. So these are the characteristic features of early angiosperms. Next, let us see the characteristic features of monocots. So monocots, single cotyledon. The cotyledon is a single cotyledon. Parallel venation. The venation type is a parallel venation. Trimerous flowers. And another important character is a monosulcate pollen grain. And cambium is absent. That is why it is a mostly herbaceous. The vascular mandal is, it is a closed type and arranged scattered in manner. So these are some of the characteristic features of monocots. Next, the characteristic features of eudicots. So eudicots, the number of cotyledon, 2-cotyledon, ethereal oil rarely present, and venation type is a reticulate venation, and flower, the type of flower is either it may be a dimerous or tetramerous or pentamerous. Here it is maybe a woody or herbaceous because cambium is present, and vascular bundle is open type and arranged in the form of ring. The pollen grain. The pollen grain is a tricolpate. The tricolpate pollen grain is a characteristic feature of eudicot. Let us see the systematic position of Fabaceae. So, in Fabaceae systematic position, kingdom Plantae, clade angiosperm, clade eudicot, and clade rose seeds. Order Fabales and family Fabaceae. You can note one point here. Above the order, the term clade is used when compared to previous classification. The term clade is used above the level of order. Okay. What are the merits of APG? APG is a phylogenetic classification, so we can identify the evolutionary order. Then the many families, uncertain families are placed in this APG. Is another interesting merits of APG. It is based on monophyletic. So there is a link between many groups. From the link, we can understand the relationship between the plants. APG, we changed our understanding of classification of plants. Why our understanding of taxonomy is changed? Because of APG. APG based on monophyletic, so that is why we use the term monocots. The term is retained. What about for the dicot? Dicot is a polyphyletic. So that is why the term dicot is outdated. And Liliaceae is split into 14 families, and Euphorbiaceae split into 3 families. Earlier, Phyllanthus is a genus. Now, Phyllanthus separated. It becomes a family now, Phyllantheaceae. Asclepiadaceae and Apocynaceae both are merged into single family. So these are the changes in APG.